it'll be like to have a shield brother. Hard for me to imagine, really.
You have been going solo during expeditions for a while now, Princess. Still, having someone there to watch your back is a good thing. Even when it's only in spirit.
Sounds pretty convincing coming from you, Ophelia. Well, I'll see if I hate it or not after the rite. As well as whether you're up to the role, Adel.
What's up, Princess? You're looking a little sulky. Something on your mind for once?
You say that like I've got air between my ears. None of this sits right with me is all. Feels like every last part of it's playing right into Grimson's master plan. Take this right. He just set it up without a word in advance, and off we went.
Oh, Princess. You're just at that rebellious age. Come to think of it, my little sis went through something similar. The memories.
Shut your trap. One more word of this, and I'll be seeing red.
So, what's my station? I could helm the ship if you want.
For now, Gren, you'll be helping with minor odds and ends. I'll teach you every task as we go.
Guess there's no fighting it. But don't be afraid to pile on the work. I want to make myself useful to you guys straight away.
I appreciate your enthusiasm. The ship almost feels brighter for it somehow.
Well, it's no help to anyone being all dark and gloomy. We do what we can, that's what I say.
So, the Undying Fleet's headed south of here, right? What's down there, anyway?
The Osmid Expanse. It's a slightly larger region than this. There are villages in the area, plus other islands that... everything good, brother? You get a weird twinkle in your eyes.
What else do you expect? Those are uncharted waters for us. We're raring to check the place out for ourselves. Ain't that right, Adel?
Doesn't take much for you two, does it? Damned Undying Fleet. They've wormed their way just about everywhere.
Just gotta keep sending them to the briny deep. I've gotten pretty used to firing these cannons.
We can't be too careful, though. They're called Undying for a reason.
Right. Adel and I can use mana, so we have that going for us. But chances are they'll fight like they've got nothing to lose. That's threatening enough for any normal ship. Fewer merchant ships will travel these waters as a result. It's high seas harassment to the extreme.
I didn't even think of that. Crap. In that case, we really have to do something about them.
Harassment. No way they're gonna stop at just that. We'll have to dig a little deeper into this.
Woohoo! Ride the wind, baby! Cutting through the waves like this is a blast.
If that's the case, then perhaps you're cut out to be a sailor after all. Incidentally, Norman longships are designed to harness even the lightest breezes.
Whereas this ship doesn't have enough sails for its size. Still, as far as the bones go, it's decently constructed. With the right bit of elbow grease, we could probably get it going faster.
It makes the hairs on my neck stand, thinking about the danger I placed everyone in. Any longer in those currents, and we would have been sucked right in.
I told you it wasn't your fault. If anything, you're the reason we're all still alive. I thrust the helm at you in the heat of battle, and you rose to the occasion. You ought to be proud.
Miss Karja, your praise is more than I deserve. I have to strive even harder, if only to stand at her side and support her. Good work escaping from Termina Island. I hope it's worked up an appetite. For lunch, we have herring butter sauté with a side of bread and soup.
Holy moly! Get a load of this feast! What gives, Easer?
Well, now that we're able to restock on provisions, I thought I'd get a little extravagant. You've all been hard at work for these past 3 days, so please, enjoy the meal.
Alrighty. I'll take watch for now. Have a nice, relaxing lunch, everybody.
Even Hugel seems excited. Thanks, Dogi. We'll do just that.
These kids really are something.
To be honest, the fact that Karnak's been wiped out hasn't really sunk in for me yet.
I'm with you there, even after seeing it go down in real time. But there's no use moping. We have to face reality, or we'll never be able to move forward.
Gran.
You know, it's times like these when I'm really glad you're here.
Been meaning to ask, Karja. How'd you get so strong?
What do you mean?
Did you practice your axe swings day in and day out? Or was your teacher just that kick-ass?
I'm a Norman. We get tempered on the fields of war. I was about 10 or so during my first battle. Gunnar made me cry my damn eyes out.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Norman society runs on a meritocratic basis, and the Bolter family is a warrior clan. Though for my part, I can't help but worry every time she sets out on an expedition.
It's finally time to set sail! Let's get psyched, Dogie!
Yeah, things may be tough going, but we'll learn the ropes one step at a time.
A crew full of rookies, and short-handed at that. No one gets any slack on my ship, so be ready!
There's certainly a lot to account for. Hopefully we'll be able to maintain and reinforce the ship on our own at some point.
Skeeter. The little squirts on the island had better have made it to safety.
Let's hurry over, Princess. Just remember to keep your composure.
You should know better than anyone how tough they can be.
Course I do. All hands, unfurl the sails! Flank speed ahead!
Adol? Princess? Are you fully prepared to set off? I don't want to see a hair out of place on you, Gren. And Cruz, don't forget your lens cloth. Ah, and one last thing. Your snack budget is 500 gold and not 1 coin more.
Huh? Only 500?
We're not on a field trip, Mira. And you standing there slackjawed isn't helping, Gren.
You lot sure know how to suck the tension out of a situation. Guess it's better than pre-battle jitters, though.
Now that I think about it, this is the first time I've gone outside the waters around Karnak.
Same with me. Our business trips never took us to these parts.
I've traveled here on occasion for house calls, though only on Norman-designated routes, of course. It really feels as though we've come a long way, doesn't it?
Bit overblown for being just one region removed. Guess that's a big deal for you townies, though. These seas are trickier compared to Karnak's, with perils around every corner. Stay sharp as we go around.
Never thought I'd see the day when I could travel this part of the sea freely. It's got this hidden gem of a fishing hole I've been dying to check out. Say, Adel, mind if I borrow one of the rowboats for a spell? It won't take long.
Oh, Father, sailing ahead to take on the Grieger for us? How very heroic!
On second thought, pretend this conversation never happened.
I've been on lookout duty for so long that I gotta take a wicked piss.
Gren, could you please stop relieving yourself off the stern of the ship?
Oh, give me a break. The only other place I can is in the lower cabins. Going all the way down every single time is torture. The dams will burst before I even get there.
That doesn't make this any less indecent, Gren!
Well, it's no skin off my back, but...
Oh, Gren, there are ladies aboard this ship, so let's try to mind our manners,
Yes, ma'am.
Feels like we've been running into the Undying Fleet non-stop since coming down south. Have to ask, though, why can't those Grieger die, anyhow?
Who can say? Maybe they're so spineless and cowardly that Har can't stand them. Whatever the case, it's a pain that you guys can't finish them off without me and Adel around.
No kidding. Our quickest and dirtiest bet would be to leave them spiked on trees, probably. Decapitation stops them from moving a while, but that'll only buy us some time at most.
Philia of the Balta Sea Force, huh? She really doesn't let things get to her. Feels like I've seen her face before somewhere, but... whatever. I'll just bring it up later.
The sea sure is vast. Gazing out at it makes me feel like I'm going to get sucked right in.
Indeed. It really evokes an odd sense of wonderment. In case you're curious, Norman mythology holds that the god of the sea is an elderly, white-haired man. The northern lands they called home were harsh, so the whitecaps there must have been especially rough and frigid.
Huh. Kinda makes sense if you think about it. The ocean's scary as hell when it gets in a rage. Maybe the Normans see it as a cranky old codger.
Could you stop wandering around the ship, Dad?
No, can do. Gotta get familiar with the layout, or it may come back to bite us in our hour of need. When loading it up with materials to repair the trading company, for instance, or after we've repurposed it into a merchant ship.
That had better end with a just kidding.
Message received, son. I don't expect to pull either of those off right here and now. Still, you can't afford to pass up on even the tiniest opportunity. Take that lesson to heart as my successor.
Yeah, I will. He never gives it a rest.
Hey, Cruz. Did you hear about when Adel rescued Rosa?
Yeah. She started off as a puppet Grieger before transforming into something disturbing.
You didn't hear this from me, but I think her, barbaric side was what made the difference.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Gren. There's no way... well, actually, now you've got me thinking.
Gran, Cruz, just what are you two whispering about over there?
Nothing at all.
Swabby duty calls!
One thing's for sure. Rosa really is... unique.
What's this? Missing your big sister already, Rosa?
No. Well, maybe a little. It's just... I know I was all gung-ho about joining the crew, but I'm not sure how to make myself useful to everyone. Sure, I worked at the inn, but I'm not even half the cook my dad is.
It's all right. Everyone has their anxieties. But even then, there are surely things that only you can do, Rosa. There. I'll always be here to lend you a shoulder when Felia's not around.
Hey, Mira! You don't have to get all touchy-feely with me!
What in hell are those two on about?
Never thought I'd see a white whale with a short fuse. More of a monster than an animal, really.
He's said to belong to a species that drifted over here long ago from a region inhabited by other gargantuan beasts. By all accounts, they were tranquil, intelligent creatures that would never attack humans. So why?
Hey, Shield brother. What are you so smiley about? We were this close to being dead meat.
I mean, I get where he's coming from. That thing ruled. Almost makes me want to see it again up close.
Jeez, not you too, Gren.
Huh? Rats! Did I drop my hair barrette?
Here you go, Karja. It must have fallen off on the landing. It's a real cute barrette, by the way. I'm guessing it's special to you?
You could say that, yeah. Not too sure I get what you mean by cute, though.
Karja? I know. Let's have a makeover session next time you're free. Imagine how much fun it'll be to doll you up. Oh, I'm getting fired up just thinking about it.
Fun, huh? If you weren't losing me before, you sure are now. But fine. I'll play along. Be ready to teach me everything you know, Rosa.
With pleasure.
What's wrong, buddy? You got some blockage on the poop deck?
Huh? No. I was thinking about the Sandras. We've made plenty of fixes and improvements, but that monosail thing is on a whole other level. Too bad us normal folk can't use it. Kinda gets to me, honestly.
You wish you had mana powers too, huh? I get you, man. How's about we start training together then? We'll start every morning and every night with 100 practice swings on the deck, followed by 50 laps up and down the crow's nest.
No way I'm doing that! How's training supposed to get us mana anyway?
A runaway. I wonder who it could be.
It'd have to be someone brave enough to make a break for it and skilled enough to pull it off.
I can't think of anyone I know who fits that bill.
More importantly, those Grieger have completely thrown a wrench in my business. But surely the mighty Balta Sea Force will waste no time driving those scoundrels out for us.
Oh, quit rubbing your palms together like that before you get on my nerves.
Something's gotta give or we'll be screwed. Shit. No way around it. Hey, Rafe, I call for a truce. Stewing in all this bad blood is just gonna hurt our next mission.
What? You still on about that scrape we had? Not everything demands a big public announcement, you know. I don't bring that sort of baggage with me to the battlefield, unlike a certain goofball on deck.
Whatever! A truce is a truce, and that doesn't mean I admit any blame, just so we're clear.
Is this supposed to be their way of patching things up?
What can I say? These two have always been like this.
We must ensure that the Sandras is sufficiently stocked for battle. The bandages and dressings we requisitioned from that Grieger ship will go a long ways toward that.
Dang, nice work, Doc. You put an ex-thief like myself to shame.
No doctor I've met has been anything like you. Where'd you learn to be so cunning?
I'm getting up there in years, so chalk it up to life experience. The time I spent up in the sky was particularly eventful.
Sky? Guess anything's possible for a pal of Adel's. Gah. No, I'm just talking crazy.
Dealing with the white whale, slipping into the fort. Our to-do list just keeps piling up.
You're telling me. Are we really up to the job?
This battlefield is ours alone to storm. Help never came back in Karnak, and that's not changing here.
I don't want to have to go through anything like that ever again. That's the whole reason I joined this crew to begin with. We got this in the bag! Just you wait and see!
There Gren goes again.
Ah, can't you take your shrieking somewhere else?
About your father, Rafe.
My father? Never heard of him. Honestly, I'm still trying to make sense of things. So, sorry for making you worry, Mom. But would you mind giving me some space?
Just promise not to do anything you'll regret.
Wasn't Mr. Whaley adorable? He even came to see us off.
Oh, Mr. Whaley. I sure hope we get to meet him again someday.
Mr. Whaley? What's with the corny nickname? That thing put us through the ringer and back.
Aw, that's all water under the bridge, Karja. Besides, he's just so gosh darn cute.
Isn't he, though? Those shoe-button eyes on that giant body? How could anyone resist?
Can't say I see where you're coming from. Then again, now that he's back to his senses... Mr. Whaley, huh?
First the tyrant, then the white shade, then the white whale, and now these shoals. Obelia Gulf sure isn't for the faint of heart.
There do seem to be quite a few more daunting elements compared to the ocean at large. Supposedly, the Gulf's unique underwater topography can be attributed to a major disaster from long ago.
Well, I see it as a challenge, one way or another. Gets my blood pumping something fierce.
Just going to have to keep tuning up the Sandras from here on out.
Hey, Hugel. What do you think happened? You don't suppose Adel and Karja actually... But there's no way they'd be so calm around each other if that were the case. Or maybe that's just the way it is with them? I can't stand not knowing!
What's up with Rosa?
Let's just leave her to herself for now.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to get in the way of her delusions.
Honestly, just who does that boy take after?
Did you have another spat with Gren, Mr. Mayor? For what it's worth, I do feel he's in the right more often than not.
What is right and what is appropriate will not always coincide. I should think you have enough sense to understand that, Mirabelle.
Yes, I do. The fact is, adults have their own issues and can often act less grown-up than one might expect. But despite it all, I'll side with Gren and them to the bitter end.
Very well. That does me a great service.
Past this strait is the Rogue Sea, the largest nautical region of Obelia Gulf.
We finally made it all this way. There has to be a lead in there on how we can save Leela. I'm curious, though. What do you think her deal is?
Well, the Trident didn't seal her away in the Marine Triangle for nothing. Her running around free would have to rain on their parades somehow.
That would imply she's a mana wielder, no? Though it would seem there's more to it.
Either way, we're gonna rescue Lady Leela. And take out those Grieger to boot!
By we, you mean Adol and Karja, right? Or are you still convinced you can just learn how to use mana somehow?
Huh? Sure, it's a 1,000,000 to 1 chance. But you miss 100% of the chances you don't take. Who's got time to waste throwing in the towel anyway? Once we meet Lady Leela, I'm gonna beg her so hard that she makes us all mana wielders!
Oh, boy. At least he's consistent. What's got you so riled, Hugel?
These rough currents won't let up. Maybe he's worried about us?
He seems afraid of something, though it could just be my imagination.
Wonder how Rafe's holding up.
I'm worried for him. But what can you even say to someone in his position?
You guys are totally overthinking it. No way Rafe wants to see us all gloomy and walking on eggshells around him.
Gren, you make a good point, actually.
Bet you anything he'd be all, psh, I don't remember asking for anybody's concern. We should just eat our meals together and bicker the way we always do.
You know, Gren, for someone so airheaded, you say the most insightful things at times.
Oh, brother. They should learn to keep their voices down.
Listen up, everybody! I just checked in with Commander Gulliver, and as of now, all residents of Karnak are confirmed safe and sound.
Whoa! For real?
So we managed to rescue each and every one of them? Ah, what a relief.
It sure is. Feels like it took forever to make it happen, though.
Still, we finally pulled it off. Whew. I don't even know what to say.
We're nowhere near out of the woods yet, but I'll admit, it's at least a little heartwarming.
You know what? This calls for a banquet tonight. Rosa, throw open the larder. The ship's provisions are yours to use.
Damn, talk about generous!
That's our captain. Thanks a million.
So, everyone is accounted for at last. Still, that is precisely why this cannot continue. I need an opportune moment to broach the subject.
All right. This time, we're getting through without a scratch.
We worked too long and hard repairing this ship to let them ding it up again. Hoogle, keep watch over the area. And lookouts, do what you do best.
Leave it to me.
Well, aren't we all raring to go? Those assigned to night watch should get some rest, though. I can help with lookout duty for the time being.
Much appreciated, Mirabelle. Now, let's stay alert and proceed toward the fortress.
So this is the bulk of the Balta Sea Force, huh? Makes for an awe-inspiring sight.
Yeah, if they weren't on our side, I'd be shaking in my boots.
This is the first time I've ever seen this many ships in one place outside of an expedition. But don't stress. We can rely on them as if they were our own brothers and sisters.
Hey, nobody I'd want on my side more in a situation like this.
Man, am I stoked to have the gang back together again. This time you'll ride or die with us to the end. Sound good, Adel? Karja?
All right, you wore me down. I'm counting on you to have our backs, crew.
Oh yeah! Now you're speaking my language.
Don't worry. We'll get you there in time no matter what.
The two of them are truly blessed to have such boon companions.
According to Hoogle's reconnaissance, the Balta Sea Force is spread throughout the Rogue Sea. The Undying Fleet has been routed after losing their mainstays. But skirmishes are still occurring sporadically. We can assume the Sea Force is chasing them down while simultaneously conducting a search for Miss Karja.
I see. That's a lot to take in, but for the time being, we're better off steering clear of that area.
Right. Though at least that means this area is relatively safe.
The fog cleared out of the Marine Triangle too, just a while ago. We should use this little breather to zip through anything that needs doing.
Oh my. Sounds like they're hard at work over there.
What's with the letter? The adults who left the Sandras finally send word?
That's right. Hoogle delivered it to me earlier. Apparently, Karnak is still in rough shape, but the reconstruction is progressing little by little. Though if I know my father, he's likely slipping out every now and then to do some fishing.
I can almost picture it.
Lady Leela, do you remember me at all?
Huh?
I'm the one who begged you to bestow me with mana. Guess I didn't power bow enough, huh?
My apologies, but I no longer possess the power you seek.
Oh, that's a bummer. I mean, it's fine. I may be an average Joe, but I've still got guts and good old-fashioned effort. Okay, let's get cracking!
What an amusing young man.
Nothing sighted off the stern. Doesn't look like we're being followed for the moment.
Sure seems that way, but don't sell the Sea Force short. I know that better than anyone.
No worries. We'll be sure to keep an extra sharp eye out.
Visibility may be poor, but we'll manage somehow.
Let's focus on the bow then. You'll never find what you're looking for if you keep gazing behind.
Aye!
Another eruption!
That was a real whopper. The deeper we get into the Rogue Sea, the worse this place gets.
Volcano, the Black Flame. Fortunately, it doesn't seem to be spewing fire in our direction.
Stuff's not gonna start raining down on us, is it? You'd better dodge if it does! You hearing me?
Calm down. We can monosail our way out, so quit your belly aching.
We've come pretty far along the vortex path, but I'm a little worried about the ship's hull. Keep hanging in there, sandy old girl.
Hard to believe this wreck has stayed together for so long.
It's a fine vessel. I can tell that it carries the hopes and wishes of many, as it likely has since its construction.
Really?
Yes, it's very faint but still perceptible. May the blessings of Mana be with this ship. Ferry these children to their journey's conclusion.
The honest-to-goodness Sea King's throne, huh? I remember having our own pretend version back when we were little.
Oh, right! What a classic! We'd always drag that big old chair into our hideout.
Now that brings me back. All of us would take turns sitting on it and making wishes like no tomorrow.
Man, those are some good times. For the record, I always believed it was somewhere in Obelia Gulf. Not a speck of doubt in my mind.
Whoop-de-doo. Give the boy a prize. Anyway, goofball gabbling aside, that was a go-to game for just about any kid in Karnak.
I see. I've heard the legend myself, but it's obviously pretty near and dear to you guys. So, what would you all wish for now?
Well, what else?
For Adel and Karja's safety, of course. Woo, buddy! That sure pumped us up.
Let's hurry and find that throne.
Hey, Karja! Recognize me? Say something, will ya? Shoot. No luck. Okay, on to plan B. Kichi kichi dow!
I get that you're worried about her, but tickling is off limits. Each of us needs to pull their weight right now. So quit wasting time and come do your share of the work.
You're right. Okay. Leave it to me, Rosa.
And here I expected the events at the throne to leave everyone discouraged. These children truly are tenacious.
It's gotten real cold all of a sudden. The topography in this part of the sea feels a lot more complex, too.
These are fjords, said to have been shaped by glacial erosion in bygone times. Their drifting flows and unpredictable weather leave the region devoid of much human activity.
Well, all the same, everybody should bundle up and keep warm as we sail through.
Good call. Any one of us could wind up sick. Anyone but Gren, that is.
Let me guess. You're trying to say I'm too slow to catch a cold? Well, fine. We'll see who's laughing when this goofball's the only one not cooped up in bed.
Rollo. Those humongous arcs he built ended up saving lives by, well, the boatload. At first, I'd written him off as just some mind-blowingly ruthless thug. No offense.
Think nothing of it. What you speak is the truth. However, once freed from the malice, there was no man more pure-hearted and compassionate. His kingly duties kept him exceedingly busy, yet he always made time for me and our daughter. And in sleep, his harsh countenance would soften into that of a child. My darling roly-poly. Perhaps I've said too much.
So, even spirits can get all lovey-dovey.
Lady Iluna, founder of the Bolta Sea Force. I would have loved to meet her.
Did you look anything like your mother, Karja? The way you do with Leela?
Don't ask me. Only impression I got is that we're worlds apart, personality-wise. Still, it was a real breath of fresh air watching her chew Grimson out. Can't say the same about her asking Adel to be her son-in-law, though.
Son-in-law?
How did that happen? Details, now! What are you two getting all up in arms about?
There's shipwreckage all over the place here. Do you think it's...
Yeah. Looks like what's left of that scrap between the Balta Sea Force and the Undying Fleet.
And there's a chance the Sandras could end up like this too, if things take a turn for the worse.
Survival of the fittest is the only law on the battlefield. But we can at least give them a proper send-off to Har.
Let's see. It was round, so let's go with Dumpling Rock.
It also had a smooth surface, so why not Glossy Rock?
You guys still trying to think of a name for that crag from earlier?
I've got it! How about Jellyfish Rock?
Huh. I can see that.
It's cute and fitting. A fine name indeed. As it so happens, the area around that crag is a jellyfish breeding ground.
Ooh, seems we have Leela's seal of approval, too.
Good work, everybody. I'll go ahead and jot that down on our nautical charts.
Captain Karja Balta. Would Captain Karja Balta please come to the sick bay immediately?
Yeesh, what's the deal, Mirabelle? I'm busy here.
None of that now, Missy. You promised you would get regular checkups, remember? Look, you're growing flushed again already. Rollo and the Berserker state are clearly taking their toll on your body. Avoid overexerting and get plenty of rest. I'll be back shortly with a warm drink for you.
Right. Thanks. I don't stand a chance against her.
If memory serves, there was an island with an interesting name here in the Rogue Sea.
That would be Giant's Hand Island. I always found the moniker curious myself. Perhaps.
What is it, Easer?
Oh, I was merely thinking that this area was once part of the Duchy of Norgard. So it could have been named after the race of giants that appear in Norman legends.
We've seen a lot of runestones, too. Guess the Normans have more roots here than I figured.
To think that the arcs he built would lead us to where we are at this very moment. Just the thought of it alone is enough to fill my heart with gratitude.
A quick scan of our sea charts shows we've hit almost every corner of Obelia Gulf now.
My, how the time flies. It feels like we've taken this adventure as far as it can go.
Not to sound insensitive, but despite how it began, I'm glad this journey happened.
Yeah, we started off as just a ragtag bunch of kids. I definitely had my reservations.
Me too. But we've grown so much since then that we're practically different people now.
I'm not about to challenge you on that, but things aren't exactly over and done just yet.
Right. There'll be plenty of time to reminisce after we wrap this up for good. No matter what lies ahead, we'll find a way through it.